Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and today FFG dropped a pile of Destiny spoilers upon us. They're really interesting, so I thought, let's take a look. And before we get started, I want to make a personal thank you to Udon, who has been appearing on all of my Switch videos, asking me in a very kind and supportive way to please make Destiny videos. I appreciate the approach that hasn't been attacking, so this video is for you, Udon. All right, let's get started here. So first we have Leia Organa. Okay, cool. I really like her power action. Remove one of your character dice to discard cards from the top of a deck equal to the value showing that die. So what's great about her is she allows you to have this deck where you always are basically able to discard off the top. So all of these other characters that maybe only had one discard side, and you're like, oh boy, I have to roll that one side, Leia suddenly turns them into much more effective characters, because especially if they have a 2 of any form, suddenly you're discarding 2 off the top. So in a vacuum, I think Leia's fantastic. She's got a 2 discard, a 1 discard, the 2 focus. You use her with Commando Raid, possibly hit and run into it in Magical Christmas Land, boom, eliminate their whole hand. Now they can't get the weapons down. Now they're stalled out. You're milling their deck. Everything's working. You're winning. Awesome. My problem with Leia is her cost. At $12.15, I feel like she might be too expensive for what she is. I think at $12.15, I would probably want to go 1 die with her to try to still have a 3-character lineup. And if I'm going to do that, at that point, I could have 2 Yoda dice for the same price. And since Yoda can trigger his special, discard 1 off the top of the deck, and then turn your other die to the discard side or whatever side you need, I wonder if that's just more effective. Having more dice is more effective. And so my thought on Leia is not that she's not good and not interesting, but I just wonder if other cheaper choices are going to sort of hold her out from the competitive scene. I think she's going to be good. If you get her in draft especially, I think you're going to be dancing, as mill is going to look real possible. Like, she will make a mill deck in draft. But I just wonder if, in constructed, with such cheap options available, if she just looks too expensive. And that's what my guess is. I like her a lot, but I'm guessing she's too expensive. And especially at Legendary, she's one of the Legendaries that I will be looking to trade or pass on if I get her. We're going to skip the non-characters for now. All right, to Snoke. Oh, Snoke. So interesting. I thought Snoke might be like an 18-coster, but no, they went the other way. They made him a support character. He's only 11-13. That sounds amazing. His power action, totally crazy. Deal a damage and turn one of your, resolve one of your other character's dice, increasing its value by 2. So he's incredibly flexible. He sounds amazing, right? Do you want to do a pile of damage with Kylo Ren? You rolled the 2 side, boom, it's a 4 side. Do you have a deck that you want to really quickly ramp up resources to be able to either play the big weapons or bring vehicles down or whatever it is you're doing? Boom, you get to resolve that single resource, making it a 3. That sounds disgustingly good. The problem that I see with Snoke is he's like in some ways, he's a much worse version of Talzin. So Talzin is, for cheaper, by the way, especially 1 die, but most people don't run 1 die, has 2 damage sides and a really ultra consistent ability where you turn the die to whatever you want. So my only issue with Snoke is Talzin just a better version of Snoke? And if she is, does that make Snoke sort of pointless in a competitive atmosphere? Again, outside of standard play, he's probably going to be really interesting and really good. He's so cheap. But my real problem is, let's say you pair him with Kylo and you go the 13-17 route. When Kylo dies, you're in a lot more trouble, I think, than when Kylo dies with Kylo Talzin. With Kylo Talzin, you have 2 really strong damage sides. You have her ability flipping her side into damage. When the weapons come over, you're able to flip those weapons to the really big numbers. Whereas with Snoke, once your partner dies, I feel like you're in really big trouble. I mean, first of all, his power action is only to another character. So I wonder if the best spot for Snoke is not the obvious spot, which is that 13-17 Snoke Kylo Ren combo. I wonder if the real way we're going to see Snoke be amazing is in the 11 cost 3 character deck, whatever it's trying to do. Maybe it's a 5 dice deck, and then this just gives it more oomph, being able to turn those other dice to the damage sides with the focus, and then boom, upping them to 2, basically making that math ceiling ridiculously high even from the very first turn. That could be where it's at, especially with somebody like Balatik at 11. Him at 11 is 22. You got another 8. You're not going to be able to get 5 dice to start, and that's maybe the problem. You'll have to go with 4 dice, I think, with him. But is his 4 dice start going to be better than a 5 dice start? Or does he fit really well in a vehicles deck or something where you're looking to make a lot of money? These are the questions I have with Snoke. I think Snoke is a really interesting card, and I like his design a lot. And if Mother Talzin didn't exist, he would be fantastic. And this is kind of the problem. This is the Ayla Secura Mother Talzin problem we have right now, is that they are so crazy undercosted that anytime another character comes along, you're like, yeah, he's good, but is he borderline broken undercosted? No, he's just really, really good. So that's my question with Snoke, is will we find a spot for Snoke that allows him to show why he's better than Talzin? And I think we'll find some decks where he is indeed better, but I'm just not sure if those are going to be competitive tier 1 decks. So my guess is this is another legendary that I will be looking to pass on or trade somehow early and get him later when he becomes cheaper, as people realize he's not quite as good as he seems. All right, let's skip to the last character, DJ. DJ is by far my favorite character out of these 3, but that doesn't mean I think he's good. So he's a character I want to be good, and here's why. His ability is my favorite ability that I've seen in a long time because it satisfies the way I want to play Destiny. The way I want to play Destiny personally is to be able to have this deck where I just remove all of your dice, right? I'm like, yeah, you rolled a good roll? Boom, removed, removed, removed. And DJ is the first guy who's like, yes, let's do it. You removed 5 of their dice? Boom, 5 damage. And so the question is he good, though? If he was support level, right? If he was like an 8-11, 9-12 kind of range, and his dice were worse, but he had this amazing ability and 9 health, he'd be busted probably, at least borderline busted. But at 13-16, like, you need that dude to be doing damage, I feel like. I don't, like, especially at 16, I think he's just bad. Like, I just don't think at 16 he can carry a team, essentially. At 13, I don't know. What are you going to do? You're going to pair him with Kylo? Like, a Kylo deck? Is this a deck? Maybe. A 1-die DJ, a 2-die Kylo. You're just all in on Kylo doing damage. DJ just does, all your cards are removal and resource generators. DJ's playing removal all game. He's doing his damage that way. When they finally kill Kylo, it turns to DJ. He has his 1 die, but he can still finish you just by removing your dice. Because once it's one-on-one, maybe. The problem is these one-on-one environments is not like 2 dice against 1. The other team probably has 5 dice at that point. So it's like 5 dice. And usually those just end so quickly that removal is almost pointless unless they roll badly. But there are some insanely hilarious things. Imagine Feel Your Anger with him. Like, they have a terrible roll. They roll 4 blanks. They lose 4 of their dice for $1, and then 4 damage go their way. Oh my goodness, that sounds so good. Mind Trick seems really good with this. Best Defense? They lose 2 dice and take 2 damage? That seems crazy. The new card Into the Crosshairs is really good. Entangle just went from bonkers good to even better, removing 2 dice and then doing 2 damage. That's insane. Like, the whole suite of the dodge, dive, defend, block, all that kind of stuff just gets crazy good. So, like, the amazing ceiling for him is there, but like I said, I feel like if he was a 912, he'd be really legit. As a 13-16 in standard constructed, I don't know. My gut tells me no. I'm sure I'll try him. He seems so cool. Like, if I could make this deck that I've been wanting to make forever, the ultimate removal deck. I vandalize all your weapons. I remove all of your dice. I prize possession you. Oh, that would be living the dream. I have a feeling, though, the dream is not a reality, and DJ is not that good. Makes me sad. All right, let's take a look at the other cards. In the crosshairs, choose a symbol, then remove any number of dice showing that symbol for 3. I don't think this is a good card. 3 cost removal is just really, really hard to pull off. Like, so hard to pull off. It's a more flexible version of the suite we just talked about. The dives, blocks, dodges, all that kind of stuff. It's great. It's an amazing card, but at 3, I don't think it's particularly playable. But who knows? Maybe. Motivate. Spot 2 red characters or Leia to resolve one of your character dice, increasing its value by 1. I don't know. I mean, do we still play logistics? It's kind of what this is like a more flexible version of logistics. I just feel like the card pool has gotten robust enough that it's not that playable, right? Like in Awakenings, I would love this card, and in Draft, I could see this card being really good, but I just feel like in Standard Constructed, I doubt it. I doubt it. Maybe Trilogies. Power from Pain. Spot 2 blue characters or Snoke to deal 1 damage to one of your characters, then turn one of that character or upgrade dice to any side. I mean, we have a lot of cards that do something similar to this that don't need you to spot 2 blue characters, Snoke, and deal damage. Like, I know it costs 0, but I don't see this happening in Constructed. Maybe in other formats, but I don't think so. Sticky situation. 1. Force an opponent to choose a die, then remove a different die. This is like the worst 1-cost removal in the game, just about. Like, this is great if they have a god roll. But if they have a god roll, you're still screwed. I don't know. I don't love this card. Like, this card could be really good in certain spots, right? Like if the meta turns way back into like Sabine decks or other giant character decks, and they only get to keep one of their big character dice, and then they have to lose the other one, even if it's not rolled to something good, because they're going to re-roll it. But I just feel like for 1, our removal has gotten really good, and our 0-cost removal has gotten really good. So I feel like this is far too limited for a 1-cost removal. Torment. After attached character is dealt damage, you may exhaust this upgrade to gain 1 resource. This card just feels too slow to me. So turn 1, you put it down. They're smart. They don't deal that character damage. Or maybe they have to, I guess. You put it on Kylo or something where they have to. Then you get your money back. Turn 2 is when you start making money on it. That's if you get it turn 1. If you get it turn 2 or 3, it becomes harder to make money. Maybe in a deck with Binds All Things, this is actually decent because it's free, and then you're making your money. I don't know. I don't think we're going to see this. We've seen a lot of cutesy cards like this, these upgrades that do minor things, and they never quite seem to pan out. And this one feels worse than others that we've seen. So I just don't think this is going to be a card that's played in Constructed again. I don't know about other formats. I'd really have to think about it. All right. That's it for today. What did you think was the best of the spoilers? For me, the most interesting is DJ. I think the best is probably Snoke, but I think this is mostly a pile of cards that won't be all that playable in Constructed. Leia maybe will find a spot. Again, I think she's overcosted. Let me be clear on something. Not overcosted as in the design team costed her poorly. Costed possibly accurately, but too much compared to the cheap cards that are in there. And that's one of the problems we're going to see with almost every card that's spoiled is yes, this card is good, but is it better than X, which is substantially cheaper? And I think that's where we run into a lot of problems with a really robust card pool is, unless they power creep every card, tons of cards just don't quite match up. All right, so see you next time, and let me know what your favorite of the cards was. Are any of them going to be incredibly competitive, do you think? And I'll see you next time on Time to Grams Games.